Now we are moving into the question answer session. DG Bharati?
Hello?
Yes.
This is just a common question. This community rehabilitation or the hospital, because the rare diseases are so much, so variety, so much of vast area of medical. How do this community education, community home, or a particular area where the center of excellence or anything, how can they really address all the issues? One or two doctors may take up as a special case and they can study depth and they can come out of solution. But how do this issue can be resolved? Because it is so vast and so different from one another. How to exactly really how to deal with it all? Just the community rehabilitation, can they really address the such a vast kind of people?
Anybody from the panelists would like to respond to the question?
Yeah. So thanks, Bharati, for that question. Yeah, as you said rightly, the facilities that are available right now in the country is not adequate enough for all these things. Whereas, the government has come up with little bit of support or have started some initiatives in the ways of initiating centers of excellence, and we are also advocating to get a district therapy initiative at the district hospital and all that. And apart from that, we have to, that is where data, data has the valid point, and we have to have appropriate data. And apart from that, lot of
Smitha, my question is it's not India or US or Europa.
No.
The
Actually,
problem is even the developed countries, how can they in the one community rehabilitation or particular hospital or center of excellence can deal with it so much vast variety of diseases? That is my question.
Yes.
Not with India or some other country. It is even developed country how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the scenario everywhere across the world, and maybe developed countries are little better, but then they are also not, really excellent. So what we would suggest is that government should come up with focused interventions for rare diseases with regard to rehabilitation and assistive technology, because they have to look at it as at a life cycle approach and not just treatment. So if only government comes up with those programs which looks at life cycle approach, then only effective rehabilitation can happen. And it can start with center of excellence, but it need to percolate to the community at the community level. So that is when it will succeed. And this is nowhere right now. It is nowhere an answer.
I'm not satisfied.
Meenakshi, may I say something?
Yes, Venki, go ahead.
It's Bharati, as you rightly say, it's 7,000 types of conditions of rare diseases. To be able to community-based rehabilitation, whether it can provide services for all the types of diseases. So the answer is no. Okay. The answer is, as illustrated by the two case studies and also by other presenters and their case study from China and from Vietnam and from Singapore, only we can do only what we can do. No? Therefore, if all types of rare diseases needs are not addressed, it doesn't mean we should not do anything. No. So we do what we can by identifying people with rare diseases and use referral services, and also whatever expertise is available within the organization, not only to address the medical condition, but also for inclusion of disabled people through, person with rare disease with education, livelihood, etc. Because we didn't have time to showcase a lot more case studies. So does it does it answer your question up to a point?
Yeah, just I have fear. For example, the traditional, especially the traditional medicine, there will be one doctor from Siddha or Ayurveda or Unani. They will deal with almost every type of issue human has. Every disease, every problem, that person will address. That is a commonly practiced in India. One person will be there. You can go to any type of problem, that person will solve. This is so vast. I am fearing that this one lead to such an environment that one community rehabilitation, one central excellence will put everything on together and then superimpose them on all their knowledge on them. That's my fear.
No, 1 minute. See, your fear is justified. So we cannot stop that. But the thing is, this people, practitioners in Ayurveda and Siddha, etc., I don't think there is enough scientific evidence that they can provide treatment or diagnosis for people with rare diseases, because we are restricted to only rare diseases, Bharati. We are not talking about all conditions, okay?
But Jnanabharati sir, I would like you, we can have this conversation continued even after this also.
Yeah.
With the panelists and with Venki, so that we can have a discussion on this. It will help.
Just one point I would like to come in, the centers of excellence are right now the specialist hospitals in in 11 states, and for Chennai it is the children's hospital. So that is how they have allocated it, and basically the task done by the center of excellence is to do the screening and also to analyze the documentations, all the paperwork provided by the family and the patient, and provide the funding, the 50 lakh
yes,
funding for the treatment. So this is basically what has been the task done by Center of Excellence right now, but it has huge scope and we need more hospitals and more resources also.
Thank you very much, Smitha. Thank you very much, Smitha. I would like to request the Aparna or Mary or Dr. Hugo to ask them whether they have anything more to add to their own presentation, because you have only 10 minutes. If you have anything more to say, kindly share. San Mary, Vaido and Aparna.
Go ahead, Sanmari.
Actually, I didn't. I'm not so good at. I didn't understand very well the question. It is speaking about how in the community-based rehabilitation to do all the diagnosis, document preparation.
No, Mary. The question is, how do we? Can CBR and having few center of excellence would do justice for the services required? Because when we talk about rare diseases, it's wide and vast. The nature of the condition itself is very diverse. And do we mean to say that this is the only solution? And if we say that, would it be enough? That was the question by Mr. Bharati.
Or is there any other approach?
Okay. First of all, I think this is the difference between community-based rehabilitation and medical rehabilitation. I don't think this two kind of approach is one substitute another. Both have their values. I think for the diagnosis part and for the very intense emergency dealing part, still needs a medical approach. Absolutely, they need a hospital, they need many other things. For community-based, this kind of rehabilitation, first, what we are doing now is first part, we are doing for the rehabilitate part, which is to make we focus on activity, we focus on the function of the body. And like a child, if they need to go to, we more focus on the function, this part. When we focus on function, we can provide for this kind of services for many people, many rare diseases, like OI need the physical function. They need to walk, they need to run, they need to go to school. It's okay. Okay.
Yes, it's okay. It's okay. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. And for the SMA children, we also provide the services to empower them able to run, they able to walk, or if unable to walk, we match the wheelchairs and enable to make in order to make them able to go ahead. Anyway, do the distance.
Thanks,
And
Judy.
in our center, we also provide like a psychological service. This is our community base is like a biological, psycho and social model. So if except the physical part for the hand, for the body, for the cognitive, for the language, we help them through the activities, through the daily life, through the parents to empower them. Then the second is we focus on their mentality, their psycho situation to make them feel happy, better, and make the relationship is better in the family and with their peers. Yeah, and we very focus on the social inclusion. In the community base, we can accept maybe one child didn't develop very good the physical recovery, and we can accept they take the wheelchair to go to school. They can take the assistive technology to go to study, to writing. But anyway, we focus them to go to school, no matter with which kind of problems, with which kind of difficulties, we try to assist you, we try to facilitate you. Then I think this is the key point of community-based rehabilitation.
Right.
And when we focus on function, we can overcome many diagnoses. Yeah, I hope I'm clear.
Yes, very clear. So on the social model, whatever be the impairment or the condition, there's always a possibility and the need for social rehabilitation and social inclusion facilitation, which is the key area that CBR will be good at, is what you're trying to inform Dr. Bharati. So now we have another hand raise from Samir Sethi. Samir, would you like to ask your question?
Just a minute. Meenakshi, before that, Aparna had to say something.
No, let's take Samir's question first,
Okay,
Venki.
all right. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Samir?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Aparna. My question, or rather, I would like to know how is the funding done for the patients who have treatment available, in abroad? I mean, outside of India, be it China or be it Singapore, be it other places. How is the funding? Because some of the treatments which are available are exorbitantly expensive. So is there a government support which is available for this kind of treatments, or how is it managed there?
So I will do a quick one, and then I guess I'll let Guido and Sunmary answer. I think that from what we are seeing continues to be a challenge in most countries, at least in Asia, and even in Singapore. They're still figuring out how they will do it. It's a mix of some form of crowdfunding or support from civil society, some support from the government, and it continues to evolve. I think there is, and especially for rehabilitation, there is some coverage, but as we found in conversations with the people with rare diseases and their caregivers, that it's definitely not sufficient, and which is why they continue to use a combination of professional plus family support. So I think it's still a moving solution at the moment in Singapore and a few of the countries around it as well.
Sun Mary, is it the same in China? Is it how do patients over there get treatment available for themselves? Is it funded by the government?
Yeah, exactly. Personally, I feel, especially these years, for the first, there is higher investigation from the input from the government. And especially in the last 2 or 3 years, the government very focused on the rare disease and give a lot for the budget help in the rare disease area. Then secondly, I think also China today, compared with many years ago when I started to work, these years, the civil society put more attention and have more fundraising for focus and help for rare disease. Not only rare disease, but also many. But generally, big part actually come from government. Yeah, it's true.
Aparna, you wanted to say something earlier?
Sorry, I do see a couple of other raised hands. Do you want to take them first, Venki?
Yeah, sure. Since I cannot see, I cannot.
Yeah. No
worries.
Manuel Joshua?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, I am Manuel Joshua from Chennai. I have completed my Master of Social Work in Disabilities and Empowerment. It's a new department. So we are the first batch. And it's not a question. I just want to share that in South India, we're the first college to have this department. And thanks for Smitha, because through her statement only I got to know about the today's webinar. It was a good learning for me. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm looking for opportunity to work with the rehabilitation and assist technology, because the PG research which I was done is related to assisted devices now. So thank you for the session. That's all.
Samir, do you have any other question, or is it your old hand raise?
It's just a comment I wanted to make. Now that we are, I see most of the countries, we are from the Asian region. Is it possible to have collaborative research? Because at the end of the day, we are all looking for treatment. We are all looking for a cure for these rare diseases. And is it possible to have some kind of collaboration between ourselves to, kind of work on the strengths that we all have between ourselves, different countries? Because at the end of the day, the issue is common. The problem is common. So my suggestion or my request would be if we can, try and work on something where a collaborative approach can be taken up to at least start working on finding out approved cure for our patients all across the Asian, at least to start with in the Asian region.
Thanks,
So what I can do is to send out a mail following this webinar, Samir, and have a group mail discussion and see where we go.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Samir, you already have got a commitment from board, from Dr. Kuidu.
Okay.
You can check the chat message.
Aparna, you want to say anything?
Sure. So I do think that as much as we need to continue to advocate for more professional support as well as government support. I do want to reiterate that given that we are talking of 7,000 rare conditions, it's not going to be, it's a long haul. And in the meantime, we should, either which way, I think we should leverage the inputs of people with lived experience and learn from each other, because I think that's something that is much more easily doable. So we really should value the expertise that people gain through experience, and leverage that for community support as well as for interventions and faster access. So I think that's something that I would like to reiterate once again. And I think, again, all of us, in the civil society tend to focus more on services. I do want to bring back the need for information, because unless people have information, they don't know how to reach services. So I think that's something that we must always keep in mind, because otherwise there's always this gap between, the people who are looking for services versus the service providers. So I think that I would like to end with that.
Great.
Thank you,
So,
Aparna.
I think
Now
we
I
need
request
just a
Kuhu
minute. Just a minute. I think we need to recognize, Aparna, you'll be the first one to admit, we need to have a holistic approach of shared lived experience of people with rare diseases and other conditions, forming communities, collaboration with professionals and community and people needing services, information. All of this is one package, no? It's not one or the other.
Correct.
So in so long as we see it as a holistic system, then it's so. At the end of the day, I think before we come to governments to provide adequately for everything, the mainstay for people with rare disease, as indeed for other people with other situations, is civil society, the family, the home, the community. So therefore, the purpose of this webinar also is for us to, in IFRA, to highlight the importance of the role of the community in providing for the well-being of people. Thank you to all of you for being here. Over to Kuhu for vote of thanks.
Hi, good evening and greetings to everyone.
Yeah.
I hope everyone had a very enriching time listening to all the learned presenter. So we come to the closing part, and on behalf of the Indian Forum for Rehabilitation and Assistive Technology, which is called IFRA, and Indian Disability Forum, IDF, I thank all the four presenters for their eye-opening presentation. It was really very enriching. I learned a lot for myself. With that, we thank UN aid agencies, government, civil society organizations of persons with disabilities, then parent groups, representatives, and academicians for being with us today here in this webinar. We also thank the translator and the sign language interpreters and the participants for their valuable contributions. Our thanks also goes to Disability Rights India Foundation, National Center for the Promotion of Employment of Disabled People, Sanchar and Radhika Alkaji for meeting the cost of the sign language interpretation, Hindi translation and documentation. Without these helps, it will not be possible to do this webinar. So thanks to them. And thanks to John and Vidyasagar for the digital documentation and technical support for this webinar, which is again a very crucial things to do. So thank goes to them also. We look forward from IFRA and IDF to see you all at our next webinar. That is the 7th in the row. And thank you and good night to you, everyone. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.